All right. Let's see. The big one-handed playing. So that wasn't bad initially. It was a little bit of a blind jump, and you're kind of like this was kind of dependent on like the Ash having bad positioning. But like it was overall not bad to land here, drop the bubble, harass, but just make sure that like your follow up is to get to like um, cover, right? So right here, like when your bubble broke, you were standing here facing the whole enemy team. And it's actually this boop that probably saved you, to be honest. Um, whereas if like you're here, you're in your bubble, and then as your bubble breaks, you're here. It's a like a world of difference, right? Not only you're holding down space, you're still threatening another jump, and you're not going to die. um, so yeah, um, yeah. So you seem to like really want to go over this for not a lot of reason, right? So if you land here, last time it was okay because the whole enemy team was here, right? But this time they're all here now, right? Which means that this jump will just put you in the middle of like no man's land with no cover, right? And if like the Ash was right here, she could just like dink and dunk you the whole way, and you'd feel really bad. Like if you want to jump into the map, jump across here and land here, and it's just way better, right? Yeah, you don't need to jump over this thing. Just jump across the cover. Like, uh, yeah. If this Ash was still here, like, you kind of get saved by the fact that your Tracer's going in and like pulling attention. But if this Ash was still here, shooting at you, you would be taking so much damage right now for no reason. Ah, jump is too short. Yeah, you need to get a little bit closer for this jump, and you need to not like have to go over this thing. If you have to go over this thing, now your jump has to go more vertical, and you're probably not going to make it. Whereas if you like come around this thing and you jump, it's way easier to land this jump, right? Than it is to like land the jump from over this obstacle. I don't know. You just seem to like jumping over things. I like the emphasis on like trying to get to the Ash though, because pretty much in any comp where like they have a sniper or like a really threatening hit scan, that's pretty much always your job as Winston to jump at. Jumping supports is heavily overrated. Um, a lot of the times it is good too because they're pretty much free, especially at lower ELOs. They don't feel for each other well. They don't do anything to you a lot of times as a monkey. Um, but yeah, generally speaking, you want to emphasize like jumping at DPS to open space for your DPS. Unless it's a DPS like Reaper that you just have a really bad matchup into. Unfortunate. Big trap. You just jump over everything you can. You can just walk. Yeah, if you get pulled there, you should just bubble that immediately. You don't know what the follow-up is, and you don't want to know, so... Ah, you took the dynamite anyways. I'm just gonna pause every time that happens and not say anything. Unfortunate lamppost. Yeah, you've just been really struggling to get in because all of your jumps are going over obstacles as opposed to at the enemy team. Alright, there's a Bob. This is a bad fight. Just be patient. Don't walk at them. No, just be patient. No. Okay, so now you burned your bubble. So now you're locked into not getting very aggressive for 13 seconds, right? That's what that bubble means. Yeah. So now you're gonna jump. How did you take no damage? What the? Alright, you took some damage. Alright, the big bomb. Uh, that beat probably wasn't needed, but this is your VOD review. This primal is also probably not needed. Your team has a lot of advantage right now, and you should only primal if like you're actually about to die. Good focus on the McCree, and realizing when the ball is like no longer a priority. Ah, okay. So whenever you're about to fight a Junkrat, keep an eye on the ground. For it was only a split second, but you definitely saw the trap and could have avoided walking into it. Um, it's right here. You definitely see the trap. Don't walk forward. Yeah, I know you. This is probably not what you're looking at, but just keep in mind whenever you're fighting a Junkrat, there's probably a trap in front of him, or at least in somewhere near him, right? So just keep your eyes peeled for the ground when when you're about to fight a Junkrat, because there's probably a trap there. You don't actually die for this, but it's like, oh, okay. You probably should have died. But you do live, which is good. Living is always good. Jumping over the obstacle, maybe not the most useful thing to do in the world. I don't know if you saw that trap on the ground there, but there was a trap right here. You might as well just shoot that so someone else doesn't walk in it when they're not paying attention. I think you should be able to jump up there. I'm not sure. Maybe you need to be a bit closer. I think this place is slightly lower than closer. Yeah. In comms, I don't know what comms are like. Sorry for not being there, but you should be really vocal at the monkey jump to this high ground because that's what the monkey does determines a lot about how the team's going to play. I'm pretty sure the ball saw you there, but you know. All right. So just keep in mind, you saw the ball. You came out again. And you saw the monkey is no longer up there, so you need to call that monkey is like back. I don't know, left or something. Like update the call because the information is now stale. You really want to get on top of this thing. You know, the thing is, there's not a lot of difference if the enemy team's not up there between here and here, right? So you might as well just go for the easier jump, you know. Don't walk directly at them. Use cover, right? Um, if you're just wiggling your head here, you're probably not gonna get shot much. If you do get shot, you can get healed from main. If you're not getting healed from main, you can grab the mega, right? I guess the mega's gone. But either way, you have options if you play here. Whereas if you just stand in the open, all you can do is get shot, and you can't do anything about it, right? So this causes your Zarya to have to bubble you early, when she'd rather not. And now you like have to use the bubble, when you don't have your own bubble, I think. Oh, you do have your own bubble. Well, you have no jump, right? So now you're like instead of going in with a bubble and then having a second bubble, you now like just straight up don't have a bubble because you're missing one, right? If you see your tracer going in on the backline, if your tracer can call like a good opening, you can actually just like jump from here and just go straight in on them. They started backing up though when the tracer came in though, so like initially they're right here. That's a great time to jump in, just land on top of them with your tracer. They'll probably die. Just make sure you save your bubble for that. All right. So I know you don't have a bubble, but there's a lot of crap going on. If you jumped at the McCree, you'd probably kill him. You just need to like pick like to be decisive with your jumps because a lot of times you spend a lot of time just like either jumping over high grounds or then walking in or like just walking in. So and then jumping out. So just like keep in mind that like jumping out is okay, but if all you do is jump out, you're never actually like creating good fights, right? You're never going in. Not my problem. Oh, crouch. I guess you're already crouching. All right. That's a time when it's good to jump over something to get safety. Bubble for this guy. Bubble for this guy. Ah. Okay. You probably should have done this a little bit earlier. So if you see where the bubble is, the border is. If you just drop bubble where you're standing at, you could have potentially saved your Zarya if your Zarya was about to die. Your Zarya probably should have died, but like when your Zarya is here, this bubble would have shielded her, right? So just like keep that in mind, right? Um, bubble can be used to heal people or to save people when they are in trouble. Like you're low, your Zarya's low, you're waiting for Ana to come back and spawn. There's going to be a while before you fight, right? So there's no penalty to dropping your bubble to help teammates, right? This is a really dangerous jump because you don't know if he has flashbang, and you don't have bubble, right? So just keep that in mind. If you want to jump at this McCree, instead of jumping on top of him, instead of jumping like directly on his body, jump like on the high ground. So you land here. So that way you're much less likely to be flashed. If you do get flashed, you're much less likely to get shot at. And then you can control the pace of the engagement more. You can buy time for your jump cooldown. Because if you stand here zapping, but you want to drop and commit, you can drop. But you're already 2 seconds off your jump, right? And you only need to wait 4 seconds to jump, right? And it's way stronger. Alternatively, you can just wait on top of this thing and then walk forward and drop your bubble here. And now you zap everybody. You create a big zone that either makes them walk to the right or back up, and that leaves enemy tanks to get isolated, right? Monkey has a lot of potential. There's a lot of things you can do with him, but like generally speaking, you want to emphasize high grounds that help you shoot at enemies, right? So this high ground not important because what can this high ground do? You drop, you're still in the same place, right? If you go here, a little bit better because you can drop here, which we talked about is better. And if you land like here, this is like really committal. This is kind of a weird jump. This is kind of like a space-taking jump. Make you like this is what you kind of do if you have primal, because you can make them like all turn around. You drop down bubble on their Ana. They start like walking forward, and then you primal. You kick the Ana forward, and then you jump over here, kick the rest of them back, and you cause a lot of disruption, right? Sorry if I talked faster there, but I guess this is recording, so you can go back and listen to that again. But essentially, there's a lot of plays you can do here, but you need to make a play as Monkey. You don't win a game as Monkey by not making plays, right? And I do like the fact that you jumped at the McCree, but you like these are ways you can jump at the McCree more efficiently, like landing on top of this thing, right? This thing, the boards are very helpful. I like they bubbled it off. Really good to do that. Ah, jump control can use some work. So you probably want to wait to jump at this Ana until you have bubble. I know like you're getting eager, and she was almost getting away. But if you have bubble, like you drop a bubble as you go in, like it just stops you from getting slept. And if you get slept, maybe she lives, right? So. All right, so after you win this fight, you need to take position. So you just won the fight. You have all the time in the world to set up, right? Um, what is that buzzing sound? Whatever. Oh no, you're jumping back. So the thing is, like, what are the ways they can get into fight, right? There's a left door, there's a right door, and a window. Most people can't use window. It's also not that great because if you show up to the window, there's a good chance you just get your head taken off by a sniper or something. Or your Ana can just poke them for free, etc., right? So realistically, the bulk of the team is going to come over one door and the other, right? So what you can do is ask your tracer to scout for you, and then you just jump up over which side you think they're going to go, right? So you can play here, right? Or you can play here. Why is this good? Because now you're above them, and you have your jump cooldown when they come out through the door, right? And as they come out, you get to zap them, and you get to drop your bubble for free, cut off their backline, front line for free, and if you get pressured, you still have primal, right? And you can do the same thing on this door. They come out, whichever way they decide to go, left, right, doesn't really matter. You get to zap them from the high ground, and then if like they still try to ignore you and walk past you, you can drop down and start bubbling them off, and it's just really, really effective. It's really hard to deal with. Yeah, so you jumped. So if you look at your last couple jumps, you jumped to cart, which was not useful. You jumped to here, which is also like mostly a positional jump, not very useful. And this is all the stuff you could have been doing during this like post fight setup, right? Because like I think what happened was you probably took damage from the Ana, and you're like, I need to get healing. I'm gonna jump back to cart. But like you look at your healers, you have an Ana, right? She can just heal you from any range, right? As long as you're in vision. So if you just play one of these high grounds, you're definitely in vision. Just ask for healing from up there, right? But now you're stuck over here, after 2 jumps like out of the fight, and you're even like crouching and sneaking around. It's like you just need to create a favorable fight, right? That like you don't need to be sneaky on monkey in these situations. Being sneaky on monkey does have benefits, but like this is not one of them, right? You know where they are, you know where they're gonna go, like just abuse it, right? Now you're doing like a blind jump and you're gonna land on like a tank, which is never really what you want. Now you're primaling a primal. Now you're trapped. Unfortunate. Oh wait, what? Okay, I didn't. I didn't realize that you killed the monkey with your primal. All right, that's a different story. I feel like that's more on the other monkey's failures than your success. But you know what? We take those. Ah, disaster. So this bubble's not very useful. I know you want to help your Zarya, but A, you could help her by being a bit closer. And then B, she's being shot at by the Moira Coalescence, which goes through the beam, which goes through the barrier. So if they try to walk past the cart, like they start pushing each side to shoot the Zarya, then you can bubble her, right? You can like walk forward a bit, bubble her, like block off this little arc of space. But while she's only being shot by the Coalescence, you don't need to bubble her. She's fine, or she's not fine, but it won't change anything, right? But either way, if you're not going to bubble her, you need to get ready to get aggressive. So that's more likely to help your Zarya than the other way, than like anything like very like you know any bubble you can do. Because if you jump right now and drop a bubble right here, and then you just like live for a long time and you cause chaos and maybe kill somebody, that's way more likely to keep your Zarya alive than just trying to give her a bubble, right? Oh, whoops, wrong person. Your Zarya's like, give me the bubble, let me get in. Don't jump the ball. It's kind of it's a ball. Like you're not gonna kill the ball. You'd much rather just like sit in your bubble even, right? And just like make sure that no one can walk towards your bubble just by like being in it, right? Like this is just not a good use of time, right? Again, don't jump over things if you don't have to, right? Like, because if you think about it, where you're gonna land with this jump, right? You're gonna land here, and you're gonna look at them very sadly because you can't get to them, right? Whereas if you just walked underneath the tunnel and you got to here and you just jumped at them, it's way different, right? You can land on top of the car, drop a bubble, block off this entire bridge, be on relative elevated position, so it's harder to fight you. It's just much better. Like, look at this. You drop your bubble, and they're all away from you. It's very sad. Yeah. Yeah. See, you jump at them, it's good. Again, if you're worried about them touching, A, this is really committal. If there's people here, you can probably just die. That's one way to throw. And then second is if you're worried about them touching, take the high grounds. High grounds are good. Kill the sim, kill the sim. She has no mobility. Just jump her. Yes. You don't need to guard the mega. You're missing 50 health. You need to stay in because your bubble's coming back up and your jump's coming back up, so you can get ready for like to like fight, right? So if you're hanging out here while your tracer dies, and you get both cooldowns, you can jump here, cut off the McCree, and kill him, right? Um, and you get like a trade, right? Um, but you just need to stay involved, right? You spend a lot of time just running away or not doing anything, so just keep your uptime high. Oh, just jump! You have your bubble. McCree's out of position. Now he's back with his team. Opportunity's gone. You just love jumping over things. All right, if you don't jump over the things, you have vision, right? So if I look here, I'm like, ah, they're all backing up and they're really far away, but that guy's on my right, right? So now I can be like, okay, so I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna jump here, I'm gonna drop a bubble here, burn for getting help, and then I'm gonna zap the McCree until he dies, right? You can start making informed decisions, but because you're always jumping over things, A, you can't jump as far, and you have to jump higher, so you're vulnerable to getting shot when you jump up. Um, you also just like have no idea what you're jumping at, right? You're spending all this time jumping over obstacles, so you can't actually see what you're looking at, what you're gonna be jumping at. It just becomes a lot harder. And you can't place you can't jump as precisely. Your bubble's not as well positioned, so the Ana can still heal the McCree instead of like being here and blocking up this entire space, right? Um, and this McCree's probably gonna live because of it. Actually, I hope he doesn't, but yeah, he's gonna live. That wasn't bad. Oh, careful! So at this point, by the way, if your Ana's alive, I don't think she is, but if your Ana was alive, you could actually walk into a couple of these bombs while she was healing you and just feed ult that way. Controlled feeding, you know. Although she's dead right now, so obviously don't. Again, bubbling, the ball doesn't do anything. He's just gonna leave. Jumping at the ball also doesn't do anything. Um, this is like way higher priority, right? What's going on over here, right? So that's why you probably should have left the mines a little earlier, so you can take position for the next fight. Again, position, 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 set up. Make sure you're in the right spot. This McCree's on his own as well. That's another viable dive target. Just make sure you're doing something, right? You're setting up for the next fight. You're getting prepared, and then you're going after like good targets. You're just chasing this ball. Your Genji's getting hooked. There's a high noon above you, but you just like you're just not looking at any of it, right? This sim isolating the sim is good. Sim's good to kill. Um, Primal control could use some work. Looks like you don't know where you're going half the time. Oh my god. What was that? Again, don't need to jump this guy. If you need to zap him, you can zap him. Like there's nothing else to shoot. But there's a lot of other things you can be jumping right now, right? Like these guys. I don't know if you know about butt jumping, but basically well, there's two different things that people both call butt jumping sometimes. So the one butt jumping is where you turn around mid jump, so you don't get because your head box is only in front of you. So if you're jumping at a widow, you can turn around mid jump, um, and prevent yourself from getting a headshot and then turn back as you land, right? The other type of butt jumping is when you hold S while you jump, and you won't jump nearly as far, right? So I can show you. I guess we can wrap this up. I'll show you in a second. Oh yeah. Hopefully the video quality is still okay. So if I want to jump, right, I jump and it's pretty far, right? But if I want to do like a short jump, like for example, like instead of trying to land all the way over there, there's a guy right here, right, on this like yellow sign, so I can do a short jump. I land right on top of him, right? These are different things you can do to like manipulate your jump direction. Um, and you do this if and you do the short jump by holding like back while you jump. Um, and you get even more if you like you're pressing back as you start the jump, but that's a little different, right? And you can just have a lot more control of your jump this way, and you can like not overshoot. Yeah, and that's all. If you have any questions or anything I said, let me know. And yeah, well, I'll end this here.